Good morning, fourth grade. Today you have lesson 10, and it is estimating answers. So we've been practicing the rounding to help us prepare for this lesson. The purpose of estimating is to be able to do mental math. And kind of just by doing the mental math, when you do your adding and subtracting, you can kind of check it mentally. So what I mean by that is in the example problem, it says round the numbers. So instead of having 157, they rounded to 160. Okay, counting by tens is a lot easier than having weird ones. Okay, then 42 rounds down to 40. Well, I know that 6 and 4 here make a new 10. So already, I just know that my 10 partners are 2, 1 and 9, 2 and 8, 3 and 7, 6 and 4. And so I know, in my mental math, I can say, oh, that was 100. Well, now that's 200. So I estimated that the answer is going to be about 200. Now we're estimating, so it's not the exact answer, but I know it's going to be about 200. So then when you look at how they solved it over here, 7 plus 2 is 9. 5 plus 4 is also 9. And then 199. That's pretty close to 200. So that helped me check it by estimating. So the first thing on number 1, it says round to the nearest 10, then estimate the answer. So it's saying for this section, you don't need to do these parts. You can if you want, but it's just wants you to estimate the answer. All right, so first, let's round 93. Since we are rounding to the nearest tens place, we have to look at our ones place. Okay, it's a 3. 3's round down, so the 10 that 93 falls in between, but it's closer to, is 90. Okay, then for 16, I look at the 6. 6 rounds up, so if 16 comes in between 10 and 20, then that means the 10 it rounds up to is 20. Okay, well, now here's where it's really nice. All I need to do is 9 plus 2. 9 plus 2 is 11, and the ones column is a 0. So the answer should be about 110. Just to check it, I said you don't have to do the first part. I want to just do it to show you that our answer should be close to 110. All right, so 6 plus 3 is a 9. Then 9 plus 1 is 10. 109 is very close to 110. All right, so now let's go back and do B. So once again, we're rounding to the nearest 10. So even though there's 100, it's going to still stay 800 something. And it's still going to stay 400 something. So I need to look at my ones place, in order to know if my tens place stays the same or changes. So since 4 rounds down from 44, it's going to be 40. On 489, the 9 rounds up, so 89 becomes 90. All right, so now I can say, oh, well, that's going to be a 0. A 9 and a 4 makes 13. Now I have 8 and 5, which is also 13. Okay, so about 1,330. All right, now we're doing the same thing, but we are subtracting. So my hundreds places still stay the same. I'm still going to have 400 something and 400 something because we're rounding only to the nearest 10. Okay, so I'm going to look at the 5 to see if my 1 stays a 1 or goes up to a 2. Since the 5 rounds up and 15 comes between 10 and 20, then my answer is 420. And 408, I look at my 8, and that would be between 400 and 410, or 0 and 10 is where 8 would come in between, but it goes up to the 10. All right, so 0, 3, 1, I'm subtracting, accidentally added. Okay, but it's still 0, and then 1. So roughly 10. Okay. The next one, you're rounding to the nearest 100, and we're still just estimating the answer. So once again, you don't need to worry about doing those. Okay, but now we're rounding to the nearest 100. So if I'm rounding to the nearest 100, then the hundreds place is what I'm going to either keep the same or move, and I look at the number beside it. So 0 rounds down, so 504 is closest to just 500, and 360, the 6 goes up, and so 360 is actually closer to 400 than it is to 300. All right, well, because I just rounded, it's pretty easy. All I have to do is add 5 plus 4, 9. Add my zeros, 900. All right, just like we did up above when we had the tens that we rounded to, the hundreds got to stay. Now we're rounded to the hundreds, but we have thousands, so the thousands don't change. Okay, so I have a 2,000 and a 4,000. All right, I'm going to look at my tens place to see if my hundreds rounds down or up. It's a 7 in the tens, so 7 rounds up. So now my 4, that means my 4 changes to a 5. And then because it's a hundreds, it should only be zeros in the tens and in the ones place. All right, now I'm going to look at the 4. 4 rounds down. 49 is less than 50 cents, which is halfway. So 49 rounds down, so my 6 stays the same at 600. So now if I go and add it, I have 0, 0. 6 and 5 is 11. Then I have 4 plus 2 is 6, and 1 more is 7. 7,100. All right, and this last one, wow, they have the 10,000s now. So I'm going to keep the 42,000, and I'm going to keep the 10,000. Okay, I'm looking at the 0 for the hundreds, which means, does my 8 go up or down? My 8 goes up, and if it was between a 0 and a 1, it's going to go up to the 100. Okay, then my 5, I need to look at the 6. 6 also goes up, so my 5 changes to a 6. So now I have 0, 0, 7. Oh, sorry, I'm subtracting again. Okay, so this one, I have to borrow because I can't take away. So now I have 11, take away 6, which is 5. 1, take away 0 is 1. And 4, take away 1 is 3. So about 31,500. Okay, that's how you estimate. Estimating is helpful. So it is a skill I do want you to practice rounding, because on the MAPS test even, it will say, hey, estimate the nearest answer. It won't give you the correct answer. It only gives you answers that you estimate. All right, then write your products. Number 4, you have story problems. I'll read them with you. Mr. Watson poured 290 red gumballs, 154 green gumballs, and 472 white gumballs into a new gumball machine at his store. How many balls did Mr. Watson put into his machine? So that's all together. Next one. On the first day, 75 gumballs were purchased from Mr. Watson's gumball machine. How many were left? So you need to figure out A first to help you then with B, okay? Because if they purchased them, that means how many did he have that they could have chosen from? And then C, at the end of the week, only 56 gumballs were left in the machine. How many had been purchased? So once again, we have to know how many he had to know if 56 were left, how many were purchased throughout the week. All right, on the back side, the number 5 says write each number in standard form. Standard form is like 1, 25, 365. Like it's just the normal numbers, okay? When it says word form, it means spell them out, okay? And then expanded form means you're doing like a place value plus a place value plus a place value plus a place value equals, and however many place values you need. Okay? And then you have some practice ones. Set each clock and tell me how much time. Solve for the unknown. So if we're adding and you need to find it, try subtracting. Okay, and then when it says write the value of the 8 in each number. Well, if this is an 8, but it's in the thousands place, it's not just worth 8, it's worth 8,000. Okay, so please do that for all the rest of them. Good luck, and as always, if you have any questions, please raise your hand.